Hi guys, here we are in our hotel. We've dropped off the G at the service center. We got a video coming on that really quick, and we linked up with Nate.
Yeah.
He had some stuff for us, and we linked up with him, and he said, "You guys want to tour the G factory?" And I know a lot of people are interested to see what the G factory looks like, so we went and did that with him, and I have to tell you, the video is noisy because we were there at 11:30 in the morning, and they're working. Like, they're steady drilling and doing all that. So we did the best we could. Maybe just don't beat us up too bad about the volume of the guys working, but you'll get a good idea of what's going on in the video. And then at the end of the video, we're going to talk about the differences that we noticed between ours, which is 065, and on the line we saw 865. There was a few in front of that, but I focused on the 865 because
800 were built in less than a year from when we purchased ours. And we did a tour when we first purchased ours in the old factory, and the new G factory has exploded into a huge manufacturing plant, way bigger than the one that we toured when we first purchased ours back in July of 23.
Yeah, so they had that smaller factory, and that's where they started building the Zs.
And they were only doing one a day.
Yeah, they started building the Zs in the small one, and then they built the new Z factory, and they moved into that. Then they started producing Gs, and they built them in that same factory. I think the first 77 were built there. So us being 65, that's where ours was built. And then they finished the new G factory, and that thing is amazing. You'll see in the footage. But stay tuned to the end, because we're going to talk about the new things that we noticed going through with Nate that were different for the newer models. So we're going to talk about those at the end. So let's jump into it and walk around with Nate. We're going to start in the lamination plant. They do all their lamination, their welding, their walls, all that stuff there. And then from there, we're going to go into the actual G plant. He walks us through a couple of areas, the slide areas, the frames, and you'll see some cool footage from there. So, you ready?
Yes, and it is massive, so we may have not covered it all, but that would be a 2-hour tour. We're going to try to get you through it pretty quick.
Yep. Nobody has time for all that.
Yeah.
Well, it took us 4 hours to walk through it.
Yes.
But this is just a small part of that. So, all right, let's do it. Ready?
Puts humidity in the air. So our glue actually is basically reactive with humidity. So we have to keep it at a certain level. But that's what the haze is you see in here.
Yeah.
It's actual humidity in the air?
Yeah. What's up, boys?
All right.
Good.
Good.
Having a good day?
Fantastic.
Wonderful.
Can you believe it's Tuesday Eve already?
No.
Tuesday Eve.
It's like the fastest day of my life.
I've never heard of that, but I'm going to use it.
Not either, Haley.
It's Tuesday Eve.
Mm-hmm. I never heard that. Well, it's a lot bigger than it looks like it is outside.
Way
The
bigger
building.
on the inside than
Oh
outside.
yeah, it's huge. Where we actually laminate the walls, and then the last section through that next curtain wall is where we route everything. But we separate the departments just so they're not messing each other up. So this would be like all your raw material basically. And then that feeds down into the saws. So there's more of the upcut saws, which I showed you. This is a new saw that we just got. This is actually automated, and we can feed full bundles of aluminum with cutless, and then it just moves the stacks, cuts them precisely, and then feeds them out the other side. So.
And you just tell it which
which
walls it's building?
Yep, and they'll feed it in order. It's pretty slick, but
this is something cool too.
Yeah, so that's all backers. So let's say we're going to stuff a tube, but we only need it in a particular spot. The guys will measure it out. They'll put a pin nail in it to hold it, and then we can have backer. And we're not adding weight of the whole tube, only where we need it.
Yeah.
A couple more upcut saws, just like you were seeing in the cabinet shop. Only here we're using metal blades and using it for aluminum. So there's no like free hand welding at all. So everything fits inside the jig tool. So they'll set their tubes. It lines everything up perfectly. They'll put their center tubes in, and then everything is precise. So we run 1/16 of an inch tolerance. So jig maintenance is a big deal. So every time they switch a wall, they measure out, they make sure that the tabs didn't get bumped when they were moving it, and everything's in place. But it's one of the ways that we build good quality is just having everything line up just right. And, you know, in our past life, it wasn't that big of a deal because we had cove trim and batten trim. Well, here, everything has to be dead on.
And then you got to label this beam would have wood in it, no wood in it.
Correct. So when they're grabbing apart, they know that this needs backer, but this one doesn't. So.
And do other companies build their own walls and do their own lamination?
Oh yeah, most of them do. We just try to take it to a greater extent. That's for the heat duct in the garage.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we build this plenum part. I wish the guys were doing it because it's actually pretty fun to watch, but we'll stuff every single opening with foam. So there's literally no voids.
Wow.
So which openings? Like these little openings? Or all of
No,
them?
so that would be on a bag door. So you'll have a bag door flange coming around, but like we'll stuff that.
Okay.
We'll stuff that front piece. That'll be 100%. So some of these parts we'll just hand cut. We have a CNC hot wire over there, and they'll do these radius pieces and stuff so the guys don't have to do it by hand. And we can actually cut like a whole stack of foam all at once with this hot wire, which is
Right,
slick.
because it just melts it.
Yep. All this tape they'll actually pull off. That's just holding the foam in place. But here's some of that backer I was telling you about, which is glued on. But see how we're stuffing even these little holes?
Yeah.
So.
Well, like I told you, I did that test the other day in the garage. 20 degrees difference.
Which is
with
crazy.
the windows open.
Which is
Yeah.
crazy.
Very good.
The garage is always where we've struggled with heat and air.
No, it's great. At least in the 3500 it is.
We'll also do the garage door, the big door.
Right now we're having it built,
Okay.
but eventually we would like to. Yeah. It'll kind of finish us building the whole structure. So all done, obviously. And we let everything cure indoors for at least 24 hours before we even route.
And that's that fabric you're talking about?
So this is wood. This is wood.
Yeah, but the stuff on the outside?
Oh, this is a vinyl.
Yeah, like a vinyl. And then you just have that little tape line that goes right there?
Yes.
Yep.
Yep. So these are all finished walls. These are all ready to go to the plant. And we used to cover them, and then we would pull them outside because we didn't have anywhere to store them. And we built this plant to be able to put wall carts double deep inside if you have to. So let's say we started out growing this. We would move this curtain back a bay. We would move routing back a bay, and we could actually have all this whole end of the building is carts, so we're never storing walls outside.
So something I just thought about or noticed is that it's all built as one piece, including your slide out walls.
Yes.
So that there's no, you don't have different lots, you don't have different,
Correct.
it's all the same.
Yep.
So then when you get that over there, they just cut that panel out, and that's the end cap for your slide. That's really smart.
Yeah, and when they cut it out, I'll write the glue on it to make sure we don't get it mixed up. So that wall section will go back into
This wall. Yeah. Wow.
Because does this section go to the slide department?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll go to
I
slides.
gotcha.
So after we set the sidewall and it's on the unit, they'll use that structure for support, and then we'll cut it out, and then that goes to offline slide outs. The other big thing is we actually test the wall in 3 spots to make sure that the adhesion is proper. And if there's ever an issue, we want to make sure that everything goes back together. So if there is an issue we need to address, it's not mix matched and we don't know what happened where. So we actually track it down to even the glue lot that it came out of. That's why you saw the foam dated.
Yes.
Everything is tracked. So if there's ever a problem, we can really pin down what the issue units
That's
are.
definitely quality assurance,
Oh yeah.
quality control, insurance.
They really helped us kind of revamp the thinking of our facility. So
Definitely.
So I'll give you kind of an idea. Be careful. So this upper mezz and catwalk is actually so we can bring kids up here. Because a lot of them want to see what their parents do during the day, and we never wanted to take them on the shop floor. So this mezz over here, we can actually see the whole plant without ever going downstairs, which is cool. Yeah, so here you're getting into like back final, comes around front final, and then that's actually the last station of production right there. The next station is the shaker table, and then it rolls into PDI.
Okay.
So,
I see the new ACs,
yeah,
the new low profiles.
yeah.
Totally
Big
different.
noise reduction, 15 decibels.
Wow.
Question, how much can we move those up?
Not sure. So they can move them up to too.
We need to. Who's installing them? So I think it's 2 things. I think it's the strut, but it's the whole location too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. This product is actually from, they use it in marine and pontoon floors.
Okay.
So like the bottom floor of the pontoon. So, I mean, if they can use it for that, we should be fine on the slide floor.
Yep.
And the other thing that we used to have issues with is the bevel. And if you notice, like in our floors are so flat, we're able to just mess that thing down like super tight instead of being on wood. So part of it is this, part of it's the way we do our pan, but that's how the floors are so, you don't even notice they're there.
Yeah.
So that's the deal. And built in harnesses.
Yeah.
So we don't do anything online. Everything's done the day before. So we've really segmented the job. Like, it used to be we were building out parts, prepping parts, grabbing parts, and then they'd kind of do it all in one. Now we separate everything. So the guys online are just doing installs. But the reason we went to these plumbing harnesses basically is because now everything is pneumatically crimped. So there's no hand crimp. He's hitting with his.
Yeah.
Hey. 100% every time. You're not laying on your back and pass through on a Friday after you've done 60 meters that day. Yeah. You know. And he doesn't have any pressure from the water. Because this is sure.
So yeah, they're on there for sure.
Oh, they're on it.
Yeah.
So basically, you just snip the end off. You snip the little bracket off, and then you replace it with a new one.
Yeah,
Okay.
this here crimps it this way. And if I want to break them, I go that way.
Ah,
Oh, very cool.
thank you.
really cool.
Yeah.
The new hitches are black, so they can be touched up. That's what Nate was telling us. Instead of that powder coat gray.
So those are to the underbelly. Those are the seam pieces. Here's these big circle cups, and the guys grab the shower, and you can bring that down with a hoist with one guy. You usually have a second person guiding it, but nobody's lifting anything.
Those are the suction cups.
Yeah.
Wow. And they suction onto the shower?
Yeah. Yep. There's a big hole in the line.
Yeah.
That's what's called a buffer station. So it's something we developed where there's 4 of them in line, and what it does is if a department is out of kilter, let's say floors is going really fast, they're not pushing the whole rest of the line to go at that pace.
Right.
Maybe these guys are on 3500s and they're on 3950s, and it takes them longer
To reset.
Yeah, so we can now move the line independently instead of the whole, you got one department pushing everybody to rush.
Right.
So, take these big face frames and they'll put them on the table, and then you move these into position. you move these into position, and it holds everything, so it's super tight. So if you go like, you'll notice there's no gaps.
Yeah.
It's just right on. And that's the reason we can get everything precise. So he actually has 2 of them where he can do that. And so he never runs a screw in and uses the screw to suck it together. It's already tight, and that's why they're so clean. I mean, one of the problems we used to fight in the past is if a style didn't line up, they'd just fill it full of putty. And
Well, like you said at the RV show, fired.
yeah, fired.
Fired.
How are you? Yeah, good. Hey. Hey, I just called this way. So, if you see, we used to build these in 4-foot sections, and then the guys would run them out, each spline, and nest them together. The problem we'd have is sometimes at the end of the roof, it'd be sticking out an inch and a half.
Oh, no. Yeah.
You'd have to jam the whole thing forward, you get weird gaps. So now we build it upside down. All of our route outs go right down here, so the sawdust and all the debris never even gets in the unit.
Nice.
So we'll build this upside down, and then we flip it over, and then we grab it in one piece and set it down at one time.
That's awesome. So this is a 3500 or a 4000. So this would be your.
That's your front.
That's your 2 vents.
Yeah, because this is going to your main bath right there. See your skylight?
Right.
This is bedroom.
Yeah.
This is bathroom. That's your kitchen AC.
Yep.
Back to your half bath.
Half bath.
And the garage.
Yep. Side. So the big thing of our harnesses is having your wire runs the same on other units. in the past, when we would pull it by hand, inherently everyone was wired different. Yeah.
It's crazy to see it from this angle.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is your wire feed, right, from the roof?
Yeah, that one is.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Because that's your vent. Yep. That's the vent for your black. Yep. Vent for your gray. Okay. Yeah.
I noticed these too. Like,
Yeah, that's
real connections.
That's the evolution of our journey, is getting everything to Deutsch connectors. So our goal is to have virtually all of our connections automotive grade. Still, even with all the effort we're putting in it, electrical is still our biggest opportunity.
Yeah.
So, but, yeah. I'm gonna walk you back just a titch.
Sure.
So, these are all TVs prepped for tomorrow.
What's up, Nate?
Big next step in our evolution is slides. So, this entire area over here, both upstairs and downstairs, is slide outs. We have it separate, just like we do everything else. So you have the guys building the slide boxes, crimping and doing everything, and then you actually have a separate team that installs it.
Install.
Yeah, so this is what we call offline slide outs, and then you have online, which does the install.
Does somebody order that with slide toppers? Is that what that is?
Yeah, it's just the bracket they have them pushed in, but
Sure.
Yep. Yeah, but you can see, I mean, everything from your lights,
Yeah.
graphics, turn over here, you know, you virtually have the entire slide box. We don't set doors or drawers until the very end of the line, but pretty much everything else is in there. So,
Look at that bedroom.
yeah.
It looks wild. That's a king bed. Must be a king bed.
Yeah, they're actually all the same, so.
No, but I meant I guess unless they're putting the nightstands in there.
Yeah, so I'll show you how we do it, but this is actually what's called, it's like a subfloor essentially.
The nightstands would sit here,
Yeah.
Yeah.
all the way to the back.
Yep.
This is kind of crazy too. Seeing those caps.
Yeah, we're set here, so nothing's coming in out of the cold.
So this is a fiberglass.
Yep.
Is it color bonded? Is it painted?
It's painted.
It's painted?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, which is the way you want it because it's not going to fade. Like, especially being darker gel coats, it's hard to get them,
Yeah.
especially in the sun. So, yeah, you can see it. So that's a support inside of it
Built into
just
the
to make
fiberglass.
it rigid.
Yeah.
Very cool to see it in the stages.
All y'all can be super jealous of the new guys. Look, black latches. Look at that. How sexy. Look at these latches. I know I'm a nerd, but that's really cool.
Can you believe you've made 200 since you've made ours?
200.
800.
800. 800.
Boom.
This is a G.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
You didn't see the 8, huh?
800. Big TV.
Yep.
You'd always stack everything in piles. Like you'd have these huge piles of doors. Well, guess which ones they're grabbing? Top ones. We rotate all of our inventory constantly, so there's never a die lot issue and everything matches. So they load the doors from the back, they pull them from the front, and you're constantly rotating. So.
Also,
Oh.
who's in the window?
Sorry.
before we show you this next clip, there's a couple caveats. Nate was nice enough to take us into the dream room, and that's where they have engineers working. And there's something else. There's the clip back there where you had the tables with the plugs in it, and we mentioned that our little plug things, like an iPhone charger, scratches the door. And so what does Nate do? He like gets the people on the line
Yeah.
to start looking at maybe cutting those holes a different way. And, he kind of said, well, the Amish don't have iPhone plugs, so they don't really think about where that gap is. But that's what makes Brinkley right there.
And it's a testament to him being an owner and not suggesting that to a manager to suggest to another guy.
Mm-hmm.
It's him talking directly to the person installing those plugs. And that shows his concern right there and wants to get to the point before it gets telephoned down and kind of diluted through the system. And that's a great management plan.
For sure. So this next clip it's a prototype that he's been working on with the engineers. So Prototype. I don't want everybody to get all like, oh my God, can I order it? Where is it? Can I get it on the website? How much is it? Whatever. When it's ready, it's going to be ready. But he was cool enough to let us film it, and we want to share it with you guys. And we think that this thing is really cool.
It is really cool.
And we're honored that we got to help a little bit with it. So that's cool. So here it is. Check it out.
Articulation on it. So you'll put the TV in, pops up, lifts up and hides.
Wow.
That's
Very
really cool.
So then you'll be able to put a 50-inch on there.
Yeah.
But you're using storage space that you would otherwise really not use for anything else.
Yeah, because it just goes up to the ceiling.
Yep.
That's amazing.
Tricky part is right now it's a little heavy for these struts when they're working, so you gotta pop both of these. Yeah, there you go. This TV goes back.
Still prototype phase.
Oh yeah.
Still,
This is our first proto.
that's really cool.
So, see this V bracket?
Uh-huh.
So, it'll fit. So we'll put a key block on the side. So you'll take your bracket, which is pretty slick. So,
That's your key block, yeah.
so you'll have that on the sidewall. So then this just locks in,
And your TV
and then your
slides
TV
in.
just sets right on that. Then you have a swing arm on the side. But the nice part is, like, let's say you weren't using it, or, crappy weather or whatever. That is the only thing you have on your sidewall. You don't have a door. You don't have anything behind the sofa. So, yeah, it's pretty slick.
So then where would it plug in at, the TV?
Well, you have a few options. So this one we actually put an outlet here,
Oh, cool.
but I don't know that we're gonna run that. Because you have your extension cord there,
And the plug
And then
up
you
under
have
there.
and you have a plug right here. You have your coax right here. You have the wire chase.
Just run it under and hook
so
it up.
I think we just put it over there.
Yeah,
So
very cool.
yeah.
Thanks for showing it to us. Good job.
Oh, thank you.
The whole symmetry of this unit is about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want them?
Yeah, I think I would align it.
I'm gonna grab
What's
a
that,
white-
Ross?
I think I would align it. That's the OCD in me, but I would align it with the black lines
Yeah.
along the skirting and center it in those two windows right there.
Well, it's gonna be centered, but where are you saying down here?
Like, see this black line? I would align it perfectly with that black line.
Go ahead.
Oh, that's easy.
So that you're not looking at a white.
Does that look
triangle.
good, Jackie?
That looks great.
Let me get a mark on here. Right there, okay.
So thanks for spending part of the day with us.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is
Almost
pretty-
all day.
Almost. Nah, it wasn't all day.
I lose track of time. I
So-
love what we do.
So I love the digs.
Yeah.
Yes,
Very cool.
Very nice.
It's when you first walk in here, it's overwhelming. When we came in upstairs and looked out, I was like, what
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So let me ask you a question. I mean, what'd you think? Like, take the complex out of it, the build process and people and environment.
It's the same exact quality that we know you have a passion for, even coming from the small building. Every detail. Like, you can walk around here. Number one, you walk around here and you know everybody. You know their names. You're fist bumping, you're having a great time. And that's just an amazing culture. But the other part of it is, you know, and they're in the minutia of every detail of every piece of wood, and that's, I think, what makes Brinkley for sure.
Well,
Yeah.
we love
The
what we
guy
do.
at the top knows where the single plastic piece goes
And
and which unit it goes into.
and where it came from and how it was made.
Yeah.
That's the huge difference, I think.
That's what we do.
Yeah. Well, once again, we appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank you, sir.
Thanks for coming.
All right.
That was the video. That's the G plant.
We
I mean,
made it as short as we could,
Yeah.
and it's bits and pieces.
and we didn't get deep into the weeds like Josh does, you know, where he goes through every little thing. We wanted to give you guys some insight as to what's going on, to let Nate talk about their quality control that they have, things like that. Some of the things we wanted to cover, though, that we noticed were differences, because I had a guy ask me already, when you do this, if there's any differences. Let's start at the front. That the Gen Y hitch is no longer that powder coat gray silver.
Yeah.
It's now, they're going to be black, and Nate said that's because they can be repaired. They can be repainted and touched
That
up.
can be touched up better in
Like
black.
ours is powder coated, and if you scratch it, it's just scratched. I mean, I don't care. Some people may care. The water filters went from that Evo set to a Brinkley branded 3. It's still a triple filter.
They're clear, so you can see
They're
your
clear,
filters.
and you can see the filters, which is really cool. And in the basement, where our door only opens from the door side, now they've designed it where that storage door down there opens from
the off door
the
side.
off door side. So you don't even have to climb in there to do your filters anymore. You just open that little passageway, and there's your filters. So I am going to remove those screws and make my wall where I can open it from the other side. I talked to Nate about doing that. So I'm excited about that. Here's yours.
Oh yeah, the 4-burner stove.
4-burner
I'm
stove.
jelly. I don't have one, but some of you lucky ones will have a 4-burner stove.
She tried to put one in her purse. Didn't fit. I try to get the new AC units, which we'll talk about. So they
Yeah.
have low profile AC units. Nate mentioned them briefly. Low profile is 15 decibels quieter, and the reason they had to go with those low profiles,
Because of the new suspension.
new suspension. So they've gone to a full Dexter suspension. They still have sumo springs. They still have the 7K axles. They have all that, but this is a new suspension, and Nate said it's a better setup basically. So those
So the trailer sits up a little bit higher, and that causes the
Yeah.
ACs need to be a little bit shorter
because you know
on top.
13.6 is the cutoff. Yep, new suspension. We covered that, and I covered the gray and the black Gen Y. What else? Those black latches.
Oh yeah.
I'm a murdered out guy. I want everything to be black. And so I was walking the line, and I saw that the little turn latches for the doors were
For
not
the propane drawer
were
doors.
not silver anymore. They're black. And Nate's like, "Good eye," and I was, that is just cool. I love it. So I'm trying to get my hands on about 8 or 9 of those, Nate. I know you're going to watch this, so you got my address. Send me some of those latches. Anything else?
Just overall, Nate did a great tour with us,
Mhm.
and so genuine. I can't express that enough on how open he was, how friendly he was to all of his crew that works on
And
the
he knows
G
them
plant.
all. He knows the dads and the sons and the, you know, that's just an amazing culture, and that makes people want to go work there.
Mhm.
I talked to one guy at the service center. He's been there for 4 weeks, and he said he loves it. He said, "I love working here." He's like, "Brinkley's amazing." So the other thing, I had another thought. Now I lost it. Oh well, that's what happens when you get old.
Squirrel.
Yeah, squirrel. Oh, there's the squirrel. Yeah. Oh, I was going to say, this tour was not just specifically for Ross and Jax. Anybody can come and do this tour. You're probably going to get Brendan, and I talked to him yesterday. He said he did his longest tour he'd ever done yesterday. He did the Z plant, and then the people wanted to see the G plant. And he's humble about it, and he understands that that's customer base and that they have nothing to hide. They want everybody to come do these plant tours. And I suggest if you have one being built, link up with Brendan and find out where yours is going to be on the line. I would say probably maybe a week out from being finished,
Yeah.
because if you go early, you're just going to see a frame with some tanks in it. But go towards the end, and you'll be there. You can, I know it sounds weird, but you kind of bond with your G, and you get to see it, and it's being built. Don't laugh at me. So, because it's kind of a cult. If you're on the G page, it's a cult. I get it.
I call it a club, not a cult.
I call it a cult. It's the G cult. So our next video coming up, don't forget to like and subscribe, please. Our next video is going to be about our service time, having it dropped off. I've been taking footage the whole time, and we'll put it together. So until then,
Yeah, well, as always, like and subscribe, and see y'all next time.
see you next time.